Hello Bujo Center and welcome back for another how-to video. Today we are working on monthly spreads. For this monthly spread, I want to draw up a calendar for the month of July to keep track of events. Let's get started. So let's check out the supplies you will need for today's spread if you are following along. Here we have a supplies list. You're going to need a ruler, a fine line marker of your choosing. I typically go for black, but the color is up to you, a pencil, and an eraser. Go ahead and grab all your supplies and let's get drawing. I want to make sure we know what the idea for today is. So now that we have our supplies ready, let's get into today's spread in your bullet journal. If you have a busy July like me, you might want to create a calendar spread in your journal for the month. Here's the calendar for July 2025. We are going to recreate this same thing, but in your bullet journal. I like to look at a reference just so I know how many squares I need and where. July has 31 days and starts on Tuesday. You could also use your phone calendar as a reference, having it right by your side as you journal. All right, let's get started. I'm going to start with a fine-tipped pen. As you can see, I've already used my pencil to have something to go by when using my pen. Here I'm journaling in an A5 bullet journal, so I did 4 bullet point by 4 bullet point squares and recreated that shape in the clip before. Grab your ruler and start the outline. You really want to try and keep everything even. That's why we use a ruler when using something more permanent like the pen. Although if you mess up, you can always keep going and just find a way to incorporate your mistake. In a later video, I will show you some tips and tricks for incorporating mistakes. So if you are following along, we are drawing in those vertical lines. We started with the bottom horizontal line just to make sure we don't go too far down on some sections. For example, since July doesn't start until Tuesday, you'll want to leave the first 2 days blank. This month also ends on a Thursday, so what does that mean? We leave the last few days blank, making that shape you saw in the first clip. Now let's get into the rest of the horizontal lines and finalize the shape. Once you've closed it completely off, we can get into the next steps to creating your monthly spread. Once you've finalized that, take your fine-tipped pen and get ready for the next steps. I wanted something a little different, so I'm going to use this pen here. Still going for something on the finer end of markers or pens. Here's the tip. In this step, we will label our days. I am writing the first letter of each day above, just like you see on your usual calendar. You may ask, why not just use a planner? Bullet journals offer more. Your bullet journal can be your planner, tracker, organization, and so much more. I use bullet journaling for a multitude of things. And sometimes I want to write more about the events that happen throughout the month, or have more say in how I organize the month. This is why we use our bullet journal. Now, grab your eraser and go crazy, making sure to remove all the pencil marks. For this next step, we are still using your fine tip marker. In this how-to, a fine tip marker or pen is really helpful. We are really putting it to use. Now you can start numbering each square to correspond with each day. Tuesday is the first. 1, 2, 3, and so on. You get the point. I like being able to see all my events for the month in one go, so this is where a monthly spread is helpful. While I still want to make weekly spreads for July because of how busy each week will be, I like to look back at this spread to give me a better reference as a whole. And there you go, guys! We have finalized the basics of a monthly spread. Now you can go ham and theme your spread. As you can see, I've already started the theme for this month. I'm going to expand this planty theme to the other side of my journal and a space to write more about events. You can customize your journal however you want, or even copy what I've done here. I'd love to see what each of you come up with. So if you've made it this far into the video, leave a like and comment telling your thoughts. Tag Bujo Center on socials if you post a picture of your spread. Now you can go on to using your spread. I like finding a marker to match and leaving a dot on the day of an event. Then write about that event below, where I wrote events. Then on your next few pages, you can create weekly spreads and write more about how those events go, or if you need to plan for the event, weekly spreads and to-do list can be helpful. If you're curious on how to make a weekly spread or to-do list in your journal, check out the other videos. I also have many examples on my socials at Bujo Center. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this video in the comments below. Now you can take your journal out into the wild and plan away.